We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south-of-the-border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside. Or maybe you're in the mood for seafood. Big Sur Oyster Bar has fresh seafood prepared right before your eyes. Savor freshly shucked oysters, crab legs jambalaya, shrimp and lobster. Beers on tap and a selection of fine wines are perfect to pair with your seafood favorite. Whether lunch or dinner, you'll love this fun atmosphere, located just off the casino floor. Ready to shake things up? Step back in time and treat yourself to one of the oldest restaurant chains in the country. Steak and Shake, famous for original mouth-watering steak burgers and hand-dipped milkshakes in a variety of flavors. For some old-fashioned fun, try Steak and Shake.
Hey folks, good morning and welcome to Sports by the Book, Friday, January 31st, the last day of January. Moving on, I believe we have 9 days now till Super Bowl Sunday. I think that's right. And I'll have some information for you, what I broke down. I went through the team's stats. I used their best games they played against defensively, and then the best offenses they played this year. Tried to limit those to away games, but again, I used, for Kansas City, like Baltimore at home. That's a good football team, so I used that. Philadelphia, maybe they played Baltimore at home. They played a couple of decent teams at home. Kansas City had more games I could use than Philadelphia, that's for sure. That could have skewed my numbers a little bit. I didn't think about that till just now, but I ran the numbers. I got a median for every game offensively for Kansas City and their defense, plays, yardage, rushing yards, passing, attempts, completions, and sacks, field goals, extra points, punts, third down conversions, fourth down conversions. I'm going to give you all that at the end. That'll be the last thing I go over today. So I'll go over that stuff at the end. But let's start out with the NHL. 4 games on the ice tonight, and then we'll do college basketball after that. I wanted to just tuck in here in my numbers and get some a couple of numbers for these teams for home and away stuff. There's not a lot from my numbers to the betting number, so nothing that I like a lot. And I wanted to see what also South Point opener to closer, so I have those numbers as well. Hockey. So game 1. All right, Nashville at Buffalo. Basically made this game a pick. Either way, you can go either way in this game. Nashville right now, $1.25 at the South Point. Total was bet up from 6 to 6.5. And I think that's the correct move. I had 6.5 on this total. Nashville is starting to score more. They are a better offensive team. They struggled mightily early in the season, but they have played much better as of late. And looking at Nashville, 6-4 over their last 10 games. I know it's a much better run. They've really struggled on the road this year. 6-15-4 is their road record. Buffalo right now at home, 10, 12, and 3. Not a great team at home. They are 5-5 over their last 10 games. Again, I don't have a lot here. My numbers lean to the dog if it was higher, but again, there's the move. A little money for Buffalo, so Nashville now $1.20, and even money on Buffalo, so that's exactly my price, and the total is the same too. But let's go over that scoring. Nashville had put together a nice little 5-game winning streak. Actually, they had won 7 of their 9 games. They've lost 2 in a row now. I have that on my sheet, straight up, 2 in a row. Thought they would beat Anaheim in Anaheim, but again, it was only the second game of road trip. It was a short little road trip they made. But they scored 5 against Vegas, 2 against Chicago at home. That was, and then went to a shootout. They won 3-2. They scored 6 against Minnesota, 7 against San Jose. Then they went to San Jose and they beat San Jose 6-5. 6 more they scored. So 3 straight games they scored 6 or more. And then they go to Anaheim, had a day off. They were probably in Los Angeles, and they lost 5-2. They went back home and they lost to Vancouver 3-1. Probably happy to be back out on the road again after that. Let's take a look and see. They have not played Buffalo. This is the first time this year. They will play them again the day before the Super Bowl, Saturday, February 8th. So my numbers are right there in this game. Not much to tell you, other than I do agree with the move on the total from 6 to 6.5. I would have gone over 6 if it was there. Vancouver is at Dallas. Battle of 2 really good goaltenders. Thatcher Demko comes up with a 3-1 win over Nashville, who have been playing well and scoring. We know he's starting to get into midseason form. Jake Ottinger always is. Both teams are on a 3-game winning streak. I have Dallas 175, 5.5 over 15. There's the records of the goaltenders. Ottinger 24, 11, and 1. Goals against 2.34. Very, very solid. Thatcher Demko 4, 5, and 3, just 12 games. This guy's much, much better goalie than that. What his numbers are right now. 877 save percentage. Thatcher Demko's a 91% guy, just like Ottinger is. So he's going to get better as the season goes. And again, coming off a very good game. This game, the Stars are $1.60 right now at the South Point. 5.5 flats the total. It's pretty much right on my numbers. I have $1.75, a little lean to Dallas, but it's not a big lean. Let me see here. Let's take a look and see if these two teams have played yet this year. If they did, it's probably has gone the way of Dallas. Nope, they play. This is the first of 3 games that they will play this year. So first time out. Let's just by chance take a look if they had played last year. And not in the playoffs. So let's see. They played 3 games during the regular season. I was checking to see mainly if they had played in the playoffs. So last year, first game at Vancouver. Vancouver won 2-0. Dallas then gets the win 4-3 in overtime at home. And then to end the season, Dallas goes to Vancouver and beats them 3-1. So if anything, I guess you could give a little revenge to Vancouver. If you did, if I give my normal revenge 25 cents, I'd be at $1.50. I still don't have a bet. I'm right in between. I'm the median line of what the South Point is using at $1.50. Columbus at Utah. This game, I only have Utah $1.49, and they're on a 3-game losing streak. I got to adjust this to $1.34. Right now at the South Point, the Utah Hockey Club is around 210, I believe, was the latest I looked here at the South Point when I did. And now it's up to 220. Open $1.80. So a lot of money for the Utah Hockey Club against Columbus. And I know Columbus has struggled on the road this year. They are a bad team. Let's look and see what their numbers are. On the road, 8, 14, and 4. They're dynamic at home. Columbus 17, 5, and 3 at home. One of the best home records in all of hockey, but 8, 14, and 4 on the road. The Utah Hockey Club right now, where are we at, Utah? At home, 8-11-5. They're 4-5-1 in their last 10 games, Utah is. Let's see if they played. Let's look at that first. Columbus. Nope, first time they play this year, and then they go to Columbus on Thursday. Head out on a 4-game road trip. That'll be the first of a 4-game road trip. They're on a 3-game losing streak, as I mentioned. Lost at Winnipeg, lost at Ottawa, 3-1, and then lost a home game to Pittsburgh, 3-2 the other night. We know Pittsburgh's not very good. I'm very surprised at this line at being as high as it is for the Utah Hockey Club. Remember, I always say don't lay points or don't lay money on bad teams. And I think Utah's a bad team. They're not very good. They haven't brought players in to make this roster better. And Columbus has a winning record. This is a good hockey team. We look back at Columbus's schedule and see what they've done. Let's see what they've done their last couple of road games and where they're at on this road trip. Second game of the road trip. They played last night, so that's the deal. That's why they're betting against them. They played last night here in Vegas. They won the game 2-1 in overtime. They're coming off 2 overtime wins. They've won at home against the Los Angeles Kings, 3-2. Very nice game. They've won 3 of their last 4. I still got to go with this team. I know they're going to go with their back off, Tarasov. So I just don't think Utah is that good of a team to lay these type of numbers. So I'll take the Columbus Blue Jackets here. And earlier today on my show, Bet the Gambit, I bet a 0.5% on it. Kind of talked myself into another 0.5%, and I'll have a full 1% play. If I win a plus 190. It's almost like winning 2%. So there you go. I like Columbus. The final game, St. Louis at Colorado. I have Colorado minus 210. St. Louis has lost 3 in a row. I adjust this up to minus 216. The Avalanche are $1.80. I have a 36-cent difference in this game, but I don't want to lay that type of price with Colorado. Let's also take a look at that one real quick by the numbers and see what St. Louis has done on the road this year. I don't think it's very good. The St. Louis Blues, well, they're 12-11-3. Not bad. I think they've played better as of late. They are 4-6 their last 10. That's not good. The Avalanche, 15 points out of first place. This is not a normal Avalanche team. They've kind of regressed a little bit. 14-10-2 at home. You know, that's not minus $2 area. But, you know, you want to be 20-10. That's minus $2. 14-10 is $1.40. That's about what their price is. Their average or their median price on the year at home is $1.70. So if you bet them every game at $1.70, you've lost money on the Colorado Avalanche, betting in their home games. St. Louis is plus $1.52, median price on the road. Well, we want to check one thing, and then we can move on to college basketball. Let's take a look at if these teams have played. They have not. First to 3. First to 3 this season. So let's go back and look at last year, see if they've played at all. Colorado beat Dallas and then lost to Winnipeg in the postseason. Regular season, let's see what we have here for St. Louis. Colorado first meeting, 4-1 win at home. Then they they played them at home again. 10 days later, they lost 8-2. Unbelievable. Win 4-1, then lose 8-2. Now that's big revenge going into their next battle at St. Louis, and they won 2-1 at St. Louis. So later on in the season, they won 4-3 at St. Louis. So they played 3 times last year. They won 3 out of 4 games, but they got their revenge, beating St. Louis twice. I could take I could use that as revenge. It's the Blues lost their last 2 home games. To the Blues, I make this $1.91. This helps me. This saves me. I really didn't want to lay a price on Colorado, and I really didn't want to lay the puck line on the Avalanche because they just haven't been that good. Their median score at home is 3-3. St. Louis's median score on the road is 3-3. This total, I have 6. and that's exactly what it is at the book. So one small play in the NHL in the 4 games, that's the Columbus Blue Jackets playing back-to-back nights after an overtime win. The overtimes are short in the NHL, and I don't know when they scored their goal against Vegas, but and it's the travel's not that bad. St. Louis to Utah, it's less than an hour flight. They got there right, probably at 1 a.m. in the morning and sleep in today. And go play another hockey game. The travel's not that bad. I'm not worried about it and playing back to back. They've won a couple of good games in a row now. They need to win on the road. So that's a big price for the better. We're the better team. Columbus is definitely the better team. All right, let's do some college hoops. It's a big Ivy League and Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference day today in college basketball. Yale at Princeton, always a good rivalry game, starts at 2 o'clock. I made Yale 5-point favorite. They are the number 1 team in the Ivy, 4-0. They've played a weak schedule so far. Princeton 3-1 in the conference. They've played a weak schedule, so there's a big game for both teams. I've got Yale, the second best offense, first best defense in the Ivy. Princeton on number 5 offense, number 3 defense. So that's Yale, has an advantage both categories. I lean a little bit to the under, but don't like it under because, again, 2 really good scoring teams. Offensively, both teams better than the defensive end. And neither defense really forces team late in the shot clock. Neither team, these are about average pace teams. I think they'll run if there's something there. If there's not, they'll run their offense. And Princeton's not the slowdown team they used to be. Mitch Henderson has changed that over the years. Not sure why. I think he should go back to the Princeton offense. ATS records give us the lean to Yale as well. 10-4 ATS for the Bulldogs, and for the Tigers, 5-11 this year. Not good. So I think Yale has played a much better schedule too. All right. So Yale's -3. It's up to 3.5 now. This number continues to move my way. If you could find a cheaper money line, maybe $1.50, that may be the way to go. And again, I wouldn't bet a full unit on it. I'd bet $100 to win $67. Bet $1 to win 67 cents. $10 bet wins you $6.77. So I wouldn't bet a full unit on it, but I would bet a flat unit. And Butler at Georgetown, 3:30 tip-off. I love Butler. I love Ed Cooley. I think he's an outstanding head coach. I think next year will be their year. I think they'll really be able to run his offense. He runs a unique offense not a lot of people use. It's like a box offense inside, around the free throw line. And they run so many different plays off of it that once you learn all those plays and you're on the same page as all of your guys, it's going to be a good offense. They've struggled this year, though. Their defense has been great. Ed Cooley has taken this team and he's taken them into a team that has superior defense. They really do. They're a top 30 defense in the country. That could be the difference in this basketball game. I have Georgetown 3.5. That's what the line is, but they are the far better defensive team. And 4-6 in the conference. They played the second most difficult conference. Butler at 2-8 has played the 4th most difficult schedule in this conference. But if I only had those numbers and I didn't have my own numbers, I'd be laying 3.5. Far better defense, and they have a better record, and they've played a better schedule so far, and they're at home. So I would definitely be looking to lay the points. Maybe we're here with Georgetown at 3.5. Again, big Ed Cooley fan. Think he's very good. Thad Matta, good coach too. Remember him from Ohio State. 10-11 ATS. Ed Cooley's not much better at 10-10, but still, I think he's the better basketball coach, and I think he has his program moving in the right direction faster than Thad Matta is, because Thad Matta is now in his 3rd year at Butler. And I thought he should have been playing much, much better than what he's doing. They're 9-12 this year. No Brad Stevens, that's for sure. Thad Matta. Home and away numbers, Butler 0-5 on the road, but they're 3-2 ATS. Georgetown is 7-7 ATS at home. They're 9-5 to the under at home. Georgetown is. They're 14-6 under overall. I have a 5-point difference in that game. So my numbers are under. I did play under for a 1% bet, small bet on Georgetown. Dayton at St. Louis. St. Louis having a good year, 6-2. The new coach, Josh Schertz, came in, and this is a very good program from last year, but they lost some of their better players. Oh, I'm sorry. This is Schertz left from Indiana State. Had a great year at Indiana State. He took 2 of his best players from Indiana State to St. Louis, Garden, their center. Very good players. So it really upgraded the program. They are playing well. But they haven't covered 7-12 ATS, 15-4 to the under. Amazing, because Schertz wants to run and be offensive, and they have been offensive. But one thing they've done is learn to play defense. Their defense is number 1 in the conference right now, even better than VCU's. That's really a very good honor to be better than VCU defensively. Wow, great job for them. Dayton at 4-4. Played the 8th toughest schedule in the conference, about average. They're a good team, though. They're above average basketball team. This is a good conference. The A-10 is a very good conference. Dayton is ranked 6th offensively and 11th on defense. I have St. Louis minus 1.5 in this game and a total of 142.5. It's right there. But if I was, again, to just take a look, I got to probably raise up St. Louis's home court rating. Let's see what they've done there this year. 9-1 straight up, 5-5 ATS. If I was to raise them up to a 4.5, I would have St. Louis at a 3.5 point favorite, and they're 1.5 now. They're up to 2. I think the money's coming into the right team. I think it's St. Louis is the team to bet. They're just going to get better and better and better as the year goes with Josh Schertz as the head coach. When you're in your first year, there is a learning curve, but when you bring 2 starters with you, at least 2 of your 5 starters know the offense inside and out. The other 3 that are picking it up and the defensive schemes, they picked that up. They're all playing great defense. That's a really good thing. Well, I love teams that play defense because those players are playing together. You don't have a great team defensive rating unless the players buy into it and they're playing together. So, yeah, I do like St. Louis here in this game. The total is right on. St. Peter's at Rider today. There we go with the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference games. And St. Peter's 2-6 in the conference. Second best strength of schedule, though. So they played a really good schedule. The opponent, the home team, Rider. Now, these are both New Jersey teams, so it is a rivalry game. Rider 3-6, 5th toughest schedule. So both the losing record, both below average college basketball teams. Last year, Rider won both games during the regular season, and then St. Peter's won the conference tournament game. So a little revenge factor to Rider, but again, I don't give that revenge to home teams. They're already getting home court advantage in these games. Big rivalry. I made the game Rider a half. St. Peter's is -1, so it's right there. The total, I have 113, and this is St. Peter's. They play extremely slow. So does Rider. Rider used to be up-tempo. Kevin Baggett's been there 12 years. He has been an up-tempo coach most of his career, but he's now slowed his teams down. They're a poor offensive team, and St. Peter's top 100 defensively. So these are 2 really weak offenses. St. Peter's averages 61 points per game against everybody. Now he's playing against another slowdown team in a conference game. And I think his defense will shut down Rider. Rider scores 65 a game, and that's against average defense. This is above average St. Peter's defense. The rivalry I like, St. Peter's 9-6 to the under this year. Rider 13-7 under. 4-2 to the under on their home court. Rider is, and I think they're the Broncos. They're 1-5 ATS at home. Rider is 1-5. They have not played well at home, so that is the game. My number is right on. I'll pass. The total is a nice total under. That's 124 right now at the South Point. The Niagara and Canisius rivals, they're in the same area. Both teams 2-7 in the conference, and both have played a very weak conference schedule. So really weak basketball teams. Niagara's the better team. They have more talent. I made them 4. Right now they're 3.5. That number's right on. My total 134.5. 137, pretty close, 2.5 point difference. So nothing to really go crazy about. Both teams do play very slow. Both very poor offenses, but they're horrendous defensively. So sometimes you end up getting high-scoring games. Out of this entire schedule today, not one of these matchups have played this year. So this will be the first time these teams have played. Not a lot of revenge factors, none until the bottom of the schedule. 3 of the last 4 games have revenge from last year. The rest of these, they got kind of revenge, but the visitors don't have revenge. I'm looking for the visitor to have revenge. These two split, Niagara and Canisius. Iona and Manhattan, big rivalry game. These two are, 2 miles apart. They're both in Manhattan. And Iona won all 3 games last year, dominated this series. This could turn quickly, though, now because Tobin Anderson is not Rick Pitino. He's not done the job that Rick Pitino did. Both coaches, John Gallagher and Anderson, are in their second year with their programs. Both have a winning ATS record this year. Losing record straight up, but winning ATS record. Both have leaned to the over in trends. Iona 11-9, Manhattan 12-5 to the over. My total is saying over. I have 159. That may be the reason why both these teams trend to the over. I think Iona, especially on the road, 5-3 over on the road. Manhattan 5-2 over at home. Again, not really much of a road game. I shouldn't even be giving a home advantage here. There'll be as many Iona fans in the stands as there will be Manhattan fans. So I have about a 2.7 difference. I'd make Iona about a 2.5 point favorite there, minus their pick. I like Iona at pick. They won all 3 games last year. We'll go with them again. I know there's motivation for Manhattan, but whenever you have a rivalry like this, these teams want to win every time they play each other. My total says over, but I don't have the tempo. Neither team runs. The only thing I have going for me is a bad defense by Manhattan. Horrendous defense. Iona, the far better defensive team. Manhattan's better on the offensive end. So I'm going to pass the total. I like the side a lot better. I like Iona. I just came up with that play. Didn't catch that before earlier this morning when I was going over these games. But anytime you have teams this close in proximity, and we know that Manhattan is not going to come anywhere near to selling out. I think Iona has more fans. They'll have more fans in the building. It's like a home game for them. So if they do have more fans, I could add more points to them. So love Iona there. Mount St. Mary's at Merrimack. Merrimack's first year in the Metro Athletic. They're 8-1, tied for first in the conference with Marist. And that would be something I got to look. I want to see, have they played Marist, and when do they play Marist if they haven't? At 8-1 and tied, that would be the big game that they would be looking for. They're from North Andover, Massachusetts, and they have not played Marist yet. They don't play them till February 16th, and then they end the season with them. They play Manhattan the game before on the road on Friday the 14th, Valentine's Day, at Manhattan. They may not be ready for that game. That may be a look ahead to Marist, because that would be their big game. And Marist, Poughkeepsie, New York. But they'll be playing the game at Merrimack. Big game. Marist will play at Siena on that Friday, the 14th, and then go to Merrimack. And Siena, though, would be a local, a New York team in Albany. I think I'm going to guess off the top of my head, about a 4-hour drive. So not a huge rival, but interesting conference. I looked earlier. Their top 4 teams have winning records. The bottom 9 teams all have a losing record in conference. So 9 teams with a losing record, 4 teams with winning records. Merrimack, Quinnipiac, Marist, and Iona are the only teams with winning records in this conference. And we're going to bet on one of them, Iona, today. All right. I have Merrimack 11. They're right now 7.5. Money for Mount St. Mary's. Not sure why. First time they've ever met Mount St. Mary's. It's the first time Mount St. Mary's has been to Merrimack. I would lay 7.5. I like that side. 1% bet. The total's right on. I have 131.5. It's 131. All right. Ivy League play. Brown at Penn. Brown 1-3 in the conference. Penn 2-2. Brown is number 6 in offense, number 7 in defense. Pennsylvania, number 3 offense, number 2 defense. They got a better team. I have Pennsylvania 3.5. This line's Penn 1.5. I think you can win by a possession in this basketball game. I like it under, though. Big difference in my total. I have 125. And you know what? These teams, home and aways, are pretty close. So I'm looking at the Reds and Blues. If there's something to initiate this and make it a bigger play, I'm going to bet it. I already did. Under 144 for 1%. I wanted to look it over a little bit more to see, why I'm so low on both these teams. Brown is 9-6 to the under this year, but Penn is 8-6 over. Penn plays slow. Brown average pace. Defensively, they're both bad. They're both better on the offensive end. On the road this year, Pennsylvania 7-1 over in their home games. Brown's 5-2. 5-2 to the under on the road. Brown is. So that helps. But I'm going to play because I have such a big difference, but I wanted to play more. I'm not going to play more. I'm just going to stay with the 1% bet under 144. Harvard and Columbia. Harvard 1-3 this year, second toughest schedule. Columbia 0-4 have played the most difficult schedule. Harvard, amazing. Tommy Amaker, I don't know if you remember, maybe this goes back 7-8 years ago now. He had the best players in this league by far. His teams were top 25 worthy. That's how good they were. He had 3 guys on his team that could have started in the ACC, and they were great. But then they got hit by a probation because of some type of illegal recruiting activity. That wouldn't happen in this day and age. He'd be a lot better off if he was doing that right now. But he has not done well since then. He's been there 17 years. I feel like Tommy Amaker is drawing a nice paycheck. He's just happy to be coaching basketball. He's probably not trying to recruit at the highest level, and he's just trying to be competitive. So I don't think he's lost his edge. Jim Engels for Columbia has been there 8 years. He's a good coach, done a nice job. His team's 9-5 this year. Harvard 5-10. I'd have to look and tell you they may have played a much more difficult schedule. Harvard. Tommy Amaker was always known for that, even when he had all those players. And I could go back and tell you what years those were. Well, it was all the way back to 2011. They were 23-7. 2012, they were 26-5. Then they went 20-10. They made the NCAA tournament 4 straight years in a row. Then he got in trouble. His last 4 years, they've been 13-13, 14-14, 14-13, and now they're 6-11 this year. I just don't understand it. What happened to him? I mean, 4 straight years to the NCAA tournament, he had really good teams. And the last team he had, and that may be where he got in trouble, 27-5. He had a top 25 defensive team and a top 50 overall team from on offense. That team was close to a top 25 team. That's amazing how good they were and where they are now. Schedule-wise, non-conference schedule, they played a bad non-conference schedule. They really didn't play anybody. Their best team they played was St. John's. They lost by 13 on the road. They covered the spread. Other than that, Yale was the next best team they played, and they lost by 29 last time out. Yeah, this just not. They're not going in the right direction. I think Columbia is, but I don't want to lay points with Columbia. I made the game 5.5. It's 3.5. I lean to Columbia. Another game, maybe if you were interested in a money line bet, that may be worth a small money line bet. I could parlay Yale to Columbia in a money line parlay for 1%. Fairfield and Quinnipiac. Quinnipiac 8-1, as I mentioned, in the Metro Athletic Atlantic Conference, and Fairfield 4-5. I made the game 12.5. It's right there. It's 12. No play on the total. I have 147.5. It's 145. We're right there. Last 4 games on the schedule. Dartmouth at Cornell. Revenge factor here. Dartmouth lost both games last year. I had Cornell 9.5. That takes me down to 7. I took 10.5 today with Dartmouth in this game, 1% play. Dartmouth is the better defense in conference. They've been better defensively, so that makes me feel good. The revenge factor. Both these teams like to run. They really get up and down. I bet this game over. My total 180. It's up to 165.5. You may have missed it. I missed the 162.5. I went over 164, and now it's up to 165.5. But bad defenses, both teams run, and Cornell's very, very good offensively. We need Dartmouth to do something to hang around to cover the spread. So a play on Dartmouth, small play on Dartmouth, small play on the over. Akron is at Kent. These two big rivals. Akron is won. They won all 3 games last year. They're 8-0 in the conference. Kent 4-4 in the conference. Kent's playing really good defense, though. Number 1 in the conference defensively. Akron's number 2. On the offensive end, Akron's number 1. Kent's number 8. So Akron, that's where they make their money, is scoring. But they play great defense, too. I shouldn't say that. They're very well balanced. Akron is the best team in the conference. I have them only 4.5 points better. I probably gave too much home for Kent. I don't think these two teams are that far apart in proximity. So, again, this is another game. Akron may have more fans than Kent in this building. I'm going to go to see how far apart they are. Directions. Akron to Kent State. We'll take them right to the visitor center. Yeah, I didn't think it was that far. It is 12 minutes, 30 minutes with 24 minutes with traffic. 24 minutes with traffic, 15 miles away. So I'm not giving any home here. I'm taking away the home from Kent State. I got the better team in Akron. I think Akron should be 4.5 here. Even though they won the 3 games last year, Kent is a -3. I like Akron plus the 3. 2 games to go. Indiana, Purdue. Revenge here. Indiana lost both games. Purdue's team that I've been talking about, betting them for the future. I bet them. I'm telling you to bet them. I think they got a really good basketball team. Offensively, they're very good. They're playing in the second best conference in college basketball. They're the second best offense and second best defense in the second best conference in college basketball. This is a very good team with playoff experience or tournament experience. I made them 14.5 in this game. I'll give revenge to Indiana. And this is, when I take away Kent's home advantages, because I know they don't have a ton of fans. And Akron has as many fans as Kent State does. So, and it's so close. You're 15 miles away. You're going to go to the game. You're going to the game. All of the Akron fans will go to the game. Now, Indiana, Purdue, a little different story. West Lafayette is full of Purdue fans, and they're gonna fill the stadium. Indiana fans there's going to be some that go, but they're not going to be. They're going to be 10% of the crowd. 90% of the crowd will be Purdue fans. Akron, Kent State, it's even right down the middle. And if there's more Akron fans, better for us in that basketball game. So I'm right on the number after I make my adjustment on the revenge factor. My total 145.5. It's 146. So I would like Purdue to win. I'd like them to win big because I bet on them. I want them playing with confidence. And this would be a game that hopefully they come focused and they do win and they do cover. I'm not betting it. I think that, enough. I maybe make another bet today on Purdue to win the national championship if I can find 60-1 again. Siena at Marist, last game on the board. Siena has revenge. They lost both games last year. I adjusted the 5 down to 2.5. This line right now at 5.5. I took 6 earlier on Siena. Now it's 5.5. I would still say to take the 5.5. Marist is good. They're really good. Siena can score, though. And Marist plays great defense. But that revenge factor helps me stay on Siena. I'm under in the game. Under in the game because both teams play extremely slow. Marist allows just 62 points per game. And Siena's offense is nowhere near an average offense. So they should hold them down into the 50s very easily. I think both teams play in the 50s in this game. So Siena and Marist under the total. I made it 109.5. So there you go. That's college hoops. Let's go on to the NFL. Here's my numbers. Super Bowl, Kansas City, Philadelphia. I broke down all of the numbers home and away. Again, my power ratings that I upgrade after every game has Kansas City a half a point better. And my total is 50 from my power ratings that I've used all year. The numbers I used here from the stats that I took from the season, and I took everybody's stats, got a median per game for Kansas City's offense and their defense. Same thing with Philadelphia, and I cross-referenced. I gave a little bit more of a percentage offensively to each team, though. Final score when I come up with this calculation of my box score final, and we'll find a way if you want to get this on Monday. We'll figure out a way if you want to send your put your email in the chat, or we'll figure out a way. I'll talk to the Sean and Jason and the crew, Vinny, Vince, and see how they want to try to get, or Ann, and let Ann know that see how we can get this information to anybody that's watching that they want to get it emailed to them. We'll email it to them. Or I know Sean's going to make up a graphic on it, and maybe Monday you just take a snapshot of the graphic when we talk about this again on Monday. So the score from these box score numbers and their stats and yards, Philadelphia wins 24-22. I like to round my numbers off to a football number. So I could round Kansas City up or down to 23 or 21. It's hard to get 22 points. It's going to take a missed extra point, basically. That's what it's going to take, a missed extra point to get there, and 3 field goals. 2 touchdowns, miss an extra point, and kick 3 field goals. I don't know if they kick 3 field goals. So anyhow, I did do a score off of what, the numbers crunched out for field goals made and field goals for extra points in this game. And it came out 26-21 Philadelphia that way when I did it that way. So a lot to talk about. The other way I want to do this, what I'll have on Monday, is I have an offensive and defensive rating on all these teams, and I adjust that throughout the year. So I was wondering if I went back and I took all games played, what teams do that are rated this offensively against this highly rated of a defense. I take all the games for the entire season. Now, the only problem with that is tendencies. Some teams run more than others. Some teams play slower than others. So, but I thought it would be something to be fun to see. These numbers I'm giving you are just strictly the team stats. Plays in this game and yardage. I have Kansas City running 61.5 plays for 302.5 yards, 4.9 yards per play. The Eagles, 60.5 plays, 320 yards, and that's 5.3 yards per play. Rushing yards. Kansas City, 26.3 attempts, 96 yards, 3.7 yards per carry. That's low. Philadelphia's run defense is very good. The Eagles, offensively, they love to run the ball. They got Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts. 33.2 rushes, 148 yards, 4.5 yards a rush. So Philly's got the advantage running the football. Maybe that's why they got the advantage of winning this game. It's hard to go against Patrick Mahomes, I'll tell you that, though. I know that. All right, passing. Kansas City, their pass attempts, 33 pass attempts, 21.7 completions. That comes out to 66%. Philadelphia pass attempts, 7.8 yards a pass, 25 attempts. And I put yards per pass. Let me go to my spreadsheet because I want to. Yardage, I didn't put that on there. Box score final. Passing yards. All right, passing yards for Kansas City. I need to add this in. I was going to add in first downs. I'm going to add in penalty yards as well for each team. Yards, Kansas City, I have 219, and Philadelphia 182 passing yards. So yards per pass, I have Kansas City at 6.6, Philadelphia at 7.2. That's an advantage again to the Eagles. I mean, from the stats, from the teams these guys have played. I remember I did say earlier that I did find more games for Kansas City than I did Philadelphia that I could find on the road against good defenses, or when I did the defensive stats against good offenses. Philadelphia played more teams with a good offense than they did play teams with good defenses. That was for sure too. All right, sacks. I think Kansas City gets sacked twice for 13 yards. Philadelphia gets sacked twice for 11 yards. Field goals. Kansas City, 1.4 out of 1.7. You know, you can't kick 1.5. It's right there. I think that's the number. Kansas City made field goals, 1.5. And Kansas City attempted 1.5, but over is a big favorite. I think a little bigger favorite than the made. The Eagles, 1.9 field goals made out of 2.6 attempts. Look like they're going to be closer to 2 out of 3 in this football game. It is indoors, though. So I think you got to make a little bit of an adjustment for that we're not going to have to worry about weather, because these two have played in some really bad weather this year. Those numbers could get up a little bit. So I'm thinking Kansas City over field goals and Philadelphia over field goals. This might be an over 3.5 field goal game. That may be something I look at in the props. They played each other in the Super Bowl before. It was an extremely high scoring game. Doesn't mean this one has to be. Extra points made and attempted. Kansas City 2.4 out of 2.6. Philadelphia 2.9 out of 2.9. They don't miss. Punts. I think the Kansas City Chiefs punt 3.4 times for 159 yards, an average of 46.8. And the Philadelphia Eagles, 3.3 punts, 155 yards, 46.9. This shows you how athletes are getting better. Go look at Ray Guy, Oakland Raiders punter, was the best in the business for years. And I think he averaged about 43 or 44 yards per punt. I believe that was the number. And now you got here 2 punters in the Super Bowl. They all average this now. That shows you how much athletes have gotten better in every single sport. There's more players in this game that weigh over 300 pounds than the entire league had in 1986. Third down conversions. Kansas City, 5.7 out of 12.7. You're going to have 12 third down conversions. Man, it's a lot. Philadelphia is the same, 5.4 out of 12.5. And then fourth down conversions, Kansas City, 0.7 out of 1.4 attempts. Philadelphia is going to successfully convert 1 fourth down out of 1.4. Talking to my daughter, Alex White, earlier in this week, when I was talking about this, knowing that I just watched a couple of games over the weekend that 2 teams had 6 fourth down attempts and completed 4 of them successfully. I got to believe there's more fourth down attempts in the playoffs than there is the regular season. So these are all regular season numbers, folks. Though these can be adjusted for playoffs. I think they should be adjusted for the playoffs. I'm going to go back and take last year's playoff averages too. I think that would be a good thing to go back and look at. So that's all I have for you today. It's been enough. It's a lot. It's a lot to digest. And we'll figure out a way how to get you my box score numbers from the regular season from both teams and cross-referencing their numbers. So for me, that's it. Don't forget Punchlines at noon today and Football Frenzy this afternoon here at the South Point studio. South Point, we also have shows over the weekend. Alex Wright, Jeff Parles. We'll see you on Saturday morning, I believe. Not sure what time they're going on Saturday morning now. The college football's over. But Sunday mornings, they're usually at 9 a.m., so it might be 9 a.m. both days. So check the schedule, though, South Point Studios. Please like, subscribe, and all the shows, like and subscribe. We appreciate you being here. Have a great weekend, and I'll be back with you Monday morning on Sports by the Book. Thanks, folks.